Lifted.
Yo, High Off Life TV, it's Mike Sick. I'm here with Kitchen Talk Music CEO, owner, Skool Da Goon. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? Good to be here.
For sure. We just seen you do your work on the corner. Talk about that record before we talk about your life in music, man. Talk about this record that we just filmed.
Yeah, that record, that joint, I'm the Bible, basically. You know how, everybody always got their name. I'm the Bible to the streets, basically. I'm that literature that you need. I'm that guidance. I'm that new breath of air. You feel me?
Do you write like that? Do you write in lines, verses, and scripture, or do you write like the whole chapter when you make your music and albums? Because I know you got your own studio. Your output is crazy. How do you approach writing in the craft? Are you line for line, bar for bar, verse for verse? Do you see it all before you do it? How do you approach music?
I'm more or less how I approach it. I approach it based off the beat, what the beat is saying to me. And a lot of people say they don't write, but I really don't write. I did 2 albums. I didn't write none of them. I probably wrote like maybe 2 tracks when I was incarcerated, but other than that, I don't write nothing because I'm naturally in tune with music and the sound. So I know what sound good, what don't sound good. I might say the same line over 5 different ways until I get it perfect.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I write in my head.
No
and
doubt.
Then, I just go in there and then I do in and out and boom. But, it's definitely about bars. It's definitely about creativity. It's definitely about harmony and all the other things like that that go with that.
For sure. And you're from the south side of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
No doubt, no doubt. Take us to the baby pictures, man. What was it like growing up south side projects of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania?
Growing up, basically, it was the typical family thing, broken home, single mom, trying to keep everything together. You pretty much having to guide yourself, and staying on your own 2 feet as a young child, dad really not around,
Siblings?
I was the only child at the time. I got siblings, but I was the only child in that household.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying?
Heard. But continue. South side projects.
It pretty much, I bounced around in pretty much the whole city. South side is pretty much where I stepped off the porch and really, start putting that work in and things like that. You know what I mean? So that's where that whole thing come from. But I mostly bounced around. I lived uptown. I lived on down Stilton. I lived on the hillside. You know what I'm saying? But the south side is where I was birthed.
Got you. And when were you introduced to music? Was that back then? Were you making music before you sat down, or when did that come into your life?
That came into my life based off my cousin. Honestly, it came off my cousin, Skeet Buckner. Rest in peace, Skeet Buckner. Buckner was pretty much my inspiration. I used to, when I was incarcerated out the county, I watched him beat on the table. So I was like, man, how he beating on the table rapping like that? Like, that shit's hard. So that was where it inspired me. I never really was too much of a crazy writer. My mind would be thinking. I was always a thinker and it just was just putting it together. I would start beating on stuff and then start getting in rhythm and messing with different melodies and sounds, and the words would just come to me, and I would formulate a song like that. But I mostly wrote hooks down. Now I did. Okay. I had about like 3,000 hooks. And
this was on the inside when it was happening? Okay,
yeah, so
got you. So you that dude that was like, you was
my inspiration didn't stem from, how some people listen, I was listening to Jay-Z, I was listening to this person and that, whatever the case may be. It wasn't like that with me. It was based off of somebody that was from my area, you give them my city, that influenced me when I was incarcerated. Yeah. So my rap career, or you say my interest in music, stemmed from prison. It didn't stem from listening to other artists.
Yeah. So when you were beating on the table and you was doing these hooks, laying these hooks down, committing to memory or whatever, did that stir up the whole block? Did cats start doing ciphers and jumping in? And what was it like? Paint that picture.
Listen, I was like the first guy to come home in like 2010 or something like that. And I was the first one that started that whole wave beating and rapping on the chest thing.
Okay.
Like, I used to kill them in the yard. Like, I don't know if they friends now, but Meek's homie was up in the same jail as I am. And we used to be on the gate, be like, man, I'm gonna introduce you to him. Like, man, oh my God, you're crazy. Because they was spitting bars. I was taking bars and taking my East Coast style mixed with, you know, well, I mean, we're all Southern. You know what I'm saying? This is just because it's Pennsylvania, it's still country as hell. You know what I mean? It's just a different form of country. You know what I'm saying? But we have our own slang just like everybody else. But, you know, basically, it just beating on the chest was just something different. And it was this one other guy named House. This dude was so fucking amazing musically. Rest in peace. He got killed. And he was from Pittsburgh. And we used to, this nigga was like the Pittsburgh DMX. Like literally. That's how hard he was. And he was loving how hard I was. So we would just tag team the gate and nobody would want to hear nobody else rap. So the Philly cats used to get kind of like they be spitting bars, but it's like you gonna always remember that harmony, that melody, that song, that hook. Dog, you hear that hook he was saying? Now the whole jail scene.
So that was like sweet and sour. Like it just complimented what you was bringing to the table. Well, yeah, man. What would that be like, man? If if y'all made music right now, how do you see older and wise and thinking back on that energy and that synergy that y'all had, man? I
mean, today, I think it's still there. It's more okay. Everybody who wins is those who are creative, that creates the style. You're not going to win if you sound like somebody else. That's always been the rule in the industry. If you ever look at it, anybody who ever blew up big didn't sound like nobody else. They had their own. Little Baby had his own style. 21 Savage own style. Drake was one of them dudes that could just do everything. You get what I mean? He was multi-talented. Then you got dudes like Kendrick Lamar. Then you got all these different Waynes and all these different dudes. They was different. Then you look at the people that came under Wayne. Right. Then you look at the people that come under this person, shit like that. So it's the same, like, so that's pretty much like it's like this sound now is more about violence, but it's like a way you can talk about it. Like I don't have to keep saying I'm gonna hit you with the stick or I'm gonna let the 30 go all day every day. You know what I mean? I can say, yeah, I'm in the kitchen cooking the birdie, I'm strapped with the 30. You know what I mean? I can say something like that, but hey, I'm still talking to the streets. It's just how you talk to the streets. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. The way they talk to it is more. It ain't no motivation to go get no money. It ain't no motivation to do nothing better. It ain't, it's all violent. I mean, I don't knock it, though. You know what I mean? That's their environment. That's how they growing up. You know what I'm saying? Right. But it's like, if you want to win in this game, you have to be creative. That's always been the motto. I don't care what say. You can go sign a 16-year-old today. If he don't have a creative bone in his body, he's not going to go but for so far. No doubt. And you run a record label. Yeah. How does all of this factor in to the artists that you sign? Maybe shout out the roster and everything that you got going on. Like, what are you looking for in the artists that you're picking up or putting out or just, stamping and getting behind? What I be looking for is drive and creativity, motivation, determination. How deep do you really? Because see, it come from me from prison, so that kept me sane. So it was more like a therapy for me. You get what I'm saying? I was just good at it. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So I'm looking at it for therapy. So how are you looking at it? Is you looking at it for therapy? Is this your way to speak to the people that you can't talk when you in the crib with your mom or your pop? Or you can't really express certain things to your homie, so you express it through your music? You get what I'm saying? Yeah. How dear is it to you? If it's dear to you, then you're going to take it to the next level on the creativity tip. Right. You get what I'm saying? Right. That's what is big. It's big. Drive, determination, motivation. What do you want to do with it? A lot of people can rap. Yeah. You can start rapping today. Yeah. You probably used to rap. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? You just still do. Let's not you get what I'm saying? Probably it's like your drive is for something different. So you could be the best rapper, but that wasn't your drive. That wasn't your full vision. That wasn't where you was supposed to manifest into. Right. You feel you're at where you're supposed to manifest. You're attacking different margins of cities and different states and touching different people's souls, spirits, and things like that, giving them an outlet. You get what I'm saying? It's the same way with music. I love music. So if I'm looking for an artist, I'm looking for an artist that sees the same vision that I see. It's not a selfish vision. Yeah. It's a love vision.
Right.
So I'm trying to give you the same love that I never received.
Right. And let's talk about more how you support artists and what KTM does for these artists, not only on, you know, a personal level, because that's a very, sounds like that's a very solid foundational level to your why is very solid and foundational. How do y'all support artists from a music business standpoint? Like, are you the distributor, self-released? Is it, you know, what does that look like, if I can ask?
Right now, KTM is working on a couple distribution deals. That's what we're trying to do right now, so I could be able to cover certain parts and, you know, and reach certain areas and be a part of certain things. You know, like I explained to you earlier, I'm not really looking for a money deal. I'm looking for just a distribution outlet. You know what I mean? I do have an artist, Hot Boy Savage. You can look him up at Hot Boy Savage. I deal with also Shake Something. He's from my projects as well. He's doing his thing heavy. That's pretty much. You got a couple other guys that I'm looking at. It's this one kid. His name's C.O. Bink. I like him. He's kind of like, he be getting the party started and stuff like that. Everybody, Harrisburg has a lot of talent. You get what I'm saying? A lot of talent. You know what I mean? So, you know.
Does Harrisburg have a sound?
Harrisburg has its own sound. Like, everybody individually have their own sound. Like, you can go on the hill and find 3 different dudes from the hill, and they all sound different.
Yeah.
But they all from the same way. They just rap different. You get what I'm saying? How you would know somebody is if they say, like, certain words like bruh, cuz, dog. Certain, you'll know if you from here, you would know where they from, or they search certain slang that they say.
Yeah.
You would know, oh, they from the South Side, things like that.
Right.
But overall, they're dope. There's so much dopeness up here. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, people don't got to grind. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see how you grind? They ain't grinding. They want somebody to give it to them.
Why is that?
I don't know. I guess because they see the rappers on TV, right? And you're living a real life in streets, right? You don't really know what that person live. You know what I mean? That individual live. But you're the real person living your life, right? So you will go try to follow what he's doing, what he's saying, and you thinking like it's that easy because he's on. But you don't know he's been struggling just like you, but he probably was investing a little bit harder than you.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? They want everything free. It's they want the studio. Nobody wants to work for nothing. You could be no kids. Okay, youngin, look, go get a job, just work something, and just keep some money coming in, and then I can help you do all this other stuff, and boom, boom, boom. They don't see the big picture. Nah, they don't want to do that. They want thug. You can still thug. Just because you got a 9-to-5 don't mean you can't thug.
So how do we change that? How can that change from the big homie aspect in the neighborhood? But then what do you think, you know, if you care to weigh in on this, what can the city, state, government do to help? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, you know, coming up in Virginia Beach, I'm from Virginia Beach, and you know, just the 7 cities period. You know, it's a it's a commonwealth, just like Pennsylvania. It's a city. It's a area of transplants. Not a lot of churches. You know, so you know, people either coming there from up top or from the south and just kind of relocating, but a lot from the northeast. And you know, we didn't have a lot of people to look up to, or if we did look up to somebody, they were like expecting the handout or maybe looking up to somebody else. So then it just kind of leaves generations of like, well, what do we do? What I learned when I moved to Atlanta is there's a lot of support coming from the city, state, and government, and turning the soil for it to be richer, for people to do their own thing independently, as entrepreneurs, as business owners. Do you think there's anything that can happen from the top down to support, you know, young men, young women, and what can we do in the neighborhood to help them as well?
Well, for one, I'm a Moor, you know, so my intellect is different. Like,
True.
For one, what we gotta, if you want to get deep into it, it's the teachings is we're taught wrong. We're not taught correctly. You know, it's segregation amongst the same people with the same color, complexion, and skin we got. So we're segregated mentally as well as physically.
Segregated amongst yourselves?
Amongst our race of people, period. Because even in you, we have the same DNA. Just because you got a different mom and a different dad don't mean we don't trace back to the same DNA. Our DNA traces back to ancestors that's related to all of us.
Right.
Period, point blank, however you look at it. So in this time, there's no education. They ain't teaching them about who they is. They don't even know who to identify with. That's why you have all these identity crises going on.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know who they want to be. You know what I mean? Because they don't know themselves. You took a race of people and make them don't know themselves. So you have to teach these kids to know who they are. Stop identifying as a black. Stop identifying as a Negro. Stop identifying as, oh, I'm an Indian or I'm an African American and all these different things. Stop identifying. Stop thinking you came over from off of a boat. Mm-hmm. You didn't come from a boat. You was already over here. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? It was pyramids over here. It was all types of different things over here. But they don't see that. They don't know that because their history, it took me years to get where I'm at mentally. You get what I'm saying? To be able to speak like this. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when I'm speaking to the little homies in the hood, I'm always giving them game. Like, nah, look, why don't you wait till you're 18? If you feel like that, learn the gun laws. If you want to carry a gun, learn the gun laws. Mm-hmm. Learn them. Didn't know what you can and what you can do. But first and foremost, know who you are as a man in this world. You're not black. They gonna classify you as an African. Oh, you're black just because you have a black, a colored mom and a colored dad. Oh, you're black. No, my skin is copper colored complexion.
Yeah,
you just a little shade lighter than me.
Yeah. So how does that affect the economics though? Because it feels like if cats don't have opportunities to do what they want to do, they just want to thug it out because they ain't got the bread or somebody doesn't have the bread to sign them and get them. Not everybody can. Be KTM. How does that affect the economics, and what can we do moving forward? What can the youth do moving forward, or anybody that can help anybody?
You have to teach them self-love to understand themselves. Like, in order for you to want to do something, right? First, you have to love yourself and believe in yourself that you can do this.
Yeah.
So that starts with self. Everything starts with self. If you don't have self-motivation, if you don't have motivation in your house or no inspirations in your house or nobody there to give you any type of inspiration, how is you going to know how to motivate yourself and what direction to move in? Yeah. And a lot of times the young bulls don't want to let you in to really give them some game because they feel like, who the hell is you? Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you're dealing with a shitload of ignorance, you know what I mean? But a bunch of young niggas that really want help. Mm-hmm. But they congested with ignorance. So it's like it's hard to break through them. Sometimes you get some good ones, and then you got to go through a shitload of bad ones.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when you really look at it, we to blame. Right. And I can take responsibility for that. We to blame because we ain't teaching them shit. Mm-hmm.
Big facts, man. High Off Life TV, man, High Off Life hip hop on a higher consciousness, man. We respect the fact that you're passing that game on because, as older artists and artists with experience, it's important that we pass that game on because a lot of people, like I said, in Virginia and other places, they don't have OGs like yourself, man. So much respect to you for
absolutely.
Lacing them up properly. So you're feeding your mind with the right things. You're also a vegan as well. Let's talk about that. And how does that affect, just in the same spirit, moving through life?
Oh, my fault. Being a vegan, what's crazy? Growing up, I used to I used to think something was wrong with it, but I couldn't make sense of it, right? Mm-hmm. So when I came home, I was watching Instagram. So when I be on Instagram, I watch for different shit. I don't watch the rappers and the fashion and what other people's doing. I go look for cars. I watch cars or some history or something like that, food and things like that. So I ran across this lady. And this lady basically was like my inspiration to really do it. She was vegan, her kids was vegan, and she used to teach anatomy on there about to be able to identify, men from women, things like that. We ain't gonna get into all that. But yeah, so I was like, you know what? I'ma just do it. I cold turkey.
Wow.
I just stopped. I ain't know what the fuck to eat. Excuse my language. I ain't know what to eat.
This ramen, is this vegan friendly?
Look, I'm reading every ingredient. I'm like, okay, let me read the ingredient. And then the phone's just so smart. You just take the phone and you be like, yo, what is this? And then they start telling you, like, what is that?
Right.
Like,
pork fingernails. The hell?
Yeah, like, why you got all these, why you got chloride in food? Like, what are you talking about?
The longer the list of ingredients on a package, the you shouldn't be eating it, right?
You shouldn't be eating it. Yeah. So it's like, yo, that it was kind of crazy to me because I was just on a smoothie diet. I was drinking a lot of smoothies. I went from 250 solid and I dropped down to like 180. And I was still training though. I was boxing. I was training.
Oh, okay. Oh, so
I got all the way down. The lowest I got down to like 178.
Jeez.
I was getting ready for a fight, and I was like 178, and then I got my wrist. I ended up breaking my wrist.
How long ago was this?
This was last year.
Okay, let's talk about fighting. I didn't know this. This was not in my notes.
Oh,
not in my notes. Now let's
well,
talk
I mean,
about
if
that.
you on my Instagram, you see me training. I mean, I was going to do it. My dad was a professional fighter, Tracy Horn. He was a pro fighter. He was very, very good. You know, certain things in life.
And he was born and raised out here?
Yeah.
As well?
Yeah, he's from the South Side. He's married to my mom. You know, my dad. So he was a professional fighter. Plus, when I was growing up, I did Taekwondo. So I was really good in Taekwondo. I was winning championships and things like that when I was a kid. And then I did a little bit of wrestling and all that. So I was really into the physical shit.
Yeah.
So then I started boxing. But I never got a chance to really go all the way pro the way I wanted to because certain things in life kept coming in. I got the music, so I might have to go do this. I got to go do this. So it was like I'm trying to balance two different things. Which one do I want to do the most? Well, I'm going to just stick with the music, but I'm going to keep training and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But, you know, I'm sharp.
Yeah. How's that going? And is that here in Harrisburg? Where do these fights happen at?
I go to Cameron Street Gym, ran by Coach Rick, Coach Martin, and Coach Bumpsy. They basically run it. They started at a small gym, then they got the bigger gym. It got two sides, two boxing joints. But yeah, they got a couple pro fighters coming out of there, doing this thing. One of the fighters, Savante. I think I said his name correctly, but he's from my projects. He just won his first debut pro fight.
Oh,
he
sick.
did excellent.
Sick. That's what's up. Is that very prevalent, boxing in central Pennsylvania? Because I know it's super prevalent in like Philadelphia and going there. Like, have you seen it grow? And
the biggest fighter we had come out was, I think, what was it? I think Letterlow. And then he passed, well, somebody took his life. So rest in peace to Letterlow. But Letterlow was doing his thing. They was calling him Baby Tyson. So he was put in the city on the map, but he came out of Reading training.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He was training here, but he blew up out that way, but he's from Harrisburg.
No doubt. No doubt.
He was kind of like the biggest fighter to come out before he passed away.
No doubt,
you know what I'm saying?
No doubt, man. So I did not know any of this about you. That's what's up. That's really dope. Before we get out here, is there anything else we want to talk about, music related, or anything else that might be on your heart and mind, man?
For real, just go tap in. Go to the website, kitchentalkmusic.com. You can follow me at Skool Da Goon. On Instagram, you can look me up. I got different articles and different things like that. Go check out some of the music. My music's dope. I just stay in my lane. I do my thing, and I make good music. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Definitely high off this life.
I appreciate you being here, brother.
Absolutely.
For sure, man. Skool Da Goon, Kitchen Talk Music, man. Protect your temple, love yourself, invest in yourself, pass that game back down to the young ones, man, so hopefully they can carry the torch and pass that on to the next one, man. Life is a cycle. Let's keep it positive. Let's keep it high off life. Your boy Mike Sick at Mike Sick World. High Off Life merch on social media, highofflifetv.com to get all the episodes, interviews, merchandise, all that good stuff. We out.